I met a gypsy.
If we transition to World Supercross, I know a lot about how this is built out.
Yeah.
Right? And the American regime. Have you seen that runs the American regime that runs the series, the outdoor motocross, is the Coombs family,
the
MX
cartel.
Sports. They monopolize.
Wait, honest, before we start this, Davey Coombs, fucking great guy.
Hey,
as far as to me and him, so all the discussion, that guy, I've never in my life met a person that knows as many people's first names as Davey Coombs.
Okay, this goes to my point, and before we get into bench racing and banter about
this is just going to be like full, just throwing shit around. There's going to be shit stick on the wall, some will slide off.
If someone dislikes the Coombs family or MX Sports or Loretta Lynn's or Racer Rex or any of the things, do a better job.
Yeah, no one has.
No one has, and very few will ever probably.
Yeah.
Right? Like, they run MX Sports.
It's the Time magazine of motocross.
They build a racing series for amateur racing that is the pinnacle of why America is what it is. They provide. They love it, man. Like, money's one thing, but they absolutely love. They have the GNCC. Yep. They have Loretta Lynn's. They have Pro Motor. They don't need AMA, dude. Yeah. They don't need the American Motorcycle. They allow the AMA in there for legacy.
Yeah.
They are the backbone. Like, they are the hardest working family in motocross, and their royalty.
Yeah.
But it's a business.
Mm.
And when they're threatened, when they're threatened by what is global supercross, dude, people start making power moves. Things start happening. And
there is a big chessboard of like this whole industry, and there's people that can move certain pieces. There's people that are now coming in with new pieces that they can move that other people can't move. Like, dude, this podcast is like a piece of it.
It is.
You know what I mean? And then like, I'm the person that can move these chessboard.
Before we got into this, we had to be transparent of what we feel these people, because they're that good and that powerful.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Tim Cotter, behind the scenes, but he's the announcer. He's the data guy. Carrie Joe. You've seen the movie, the Netflix thing, Yellowstone?
No, I haven't.
Okay. Well, the Coombs family.
Yeah, Yellowstone. That's so good.
Have you seen how that thing's put together?
Nah.
Yellowstone it's a power family.
Yeah, okay.
And Dave Coombs
it's on my
Sr.
iPad. I haven't watched it.
Watch it. Dave Coombs Sr. built a Yellowstone family.
That's
like the
pretty cool.
diplomatic, strong, like as in Davey.
Yeah.
Carrie Joe's the lawyer. Like, dude, he built a superpower family, and they live and breathe moto. Like, Davey.
Well, and it's their livelihood, and it's the livelihood of like hundreds of people.
Yes, they give back to the sport. They produce content. They employ people. Like, Jason Wygant, lump him in with that family like he's like the adopted son, right? Like, there is...
And a straight up gift to the sport.
Yeah, and then you have the Verb crew that allowed them to... like.
So true.
Like I said, this before we get into this, there's layers of this. And a global supercross program has came in and disrupted everything.
Yeah.
And
motocross is the one that's going to suffer.
The core competency... It's the dog years, and Jeremy Mallett, a.k.a. Hammer, good friend of ours. I was surprised to hear he wasn't down with global supercross.
Yeah.
I was honestly, because he's so forward thinking, right? And Jeremy will be listening to this going, dude, why are you dogging me out? But I was surprised he wasn't down with some forward thinking, because he had told me, and I've heard him say it to some strong people, is why are we letting promoters dictate how many races we have to go to as OEMs? So AMA comes with a schedule. Here's where you're going for the outdoors, and here's how many supercrosses. And everyone goes, okay, why don't the OEMs as a group dictate how many races they're going to?
Yeah. It's not a two-way street.
It's not
in
a two-way
lot of
street.
different ways.
So like the global supercross is like, hey, own your capital of the team. You don't have to pay for entries. We're gonna inject some money into here. Let's talk about what you need. I know it's more to it than that as it gets into it, but I think when this global supercross, they thought that people should ask for permission to start doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's funny. I heard the Jason Thomas on Pulp, and he like the whole start of his thing was basically him saying like, well, they weren't supposed to do this. They weren't going to come in and get the top guys. It's like, the fucking what? This $50 million Supercross series was banking on Kyle Chisholm. That's not how the fuck this works, bro. Like, at what point, if you believe that, then I don't know if I could ever listen to anything you say again. Because where the fuck does that come from?
Money talks and bullshit walks, right? And the experience. Like, I heard Kenny go on Pulp and talk about he's so stoked to race Global Supercross because he's going to be able to travel to places and change the narrative.
It's fun.
And see things and become more of a global superstar, and just so much things that he's excited to see. And, you know, I see these teams, that the opportunity for riders, and it's scary if you're an MX Sports that has been lifting. MX Sports took pro motocross that was dead. It was dead. It was dying a slow death, and they rejuvenated it. And as much as we're having problems with the live stream, and dude, I still pay for it, and I adjust because I want to see the Tomac and Sexton battles and the Jet and Hunter dominance, because they're trying. They're not trying to just take our money. Like, it causes them stress, and you got, you know, the whole network, RacerX network, JT. You know, those guys are different than us, but that's what's great. Dude, JT is so diplomatic and uses words. I think he flexes on his vocabulary just to flex. And, you know, but they're different. They're now in, you know, Boise, Idaho, and Vegas and Florida and Truman and the industry idiots. And we're out here in Australia, and I go to war with those guys about, like, my passion for the industry, but like, I appreciate them. I listen to their podcast. I listen to JT's Industry Idiots because he's actual got information. He actual has firsthand information. He lives it. He breathes it. He loves it. Whether I agree with everything they say, I don't really. And I there's a lot of it's a financial. They're very one-sided because there's a financial gain. Yeah. There's a financial gain. You know, you can only be so ingrained without getting financial.
100%.
Kiefer. He works for Yamaha and Honda. Yeah. You can only be so biased without cutting the hands that feed you.
Man, hey, I mean, like, I take a massive hit for just saying whatever fuck I want. Like, I have not a lot of industry support.
Yeah.
Like, listen to the ads. There's like 5. There's not a lot of people.
Yeah, you
because
start, I
do say whatever the fuck.
When you start.
You limit the scope when you just are fully honest.
Yeah, if you're fully transparent, you limit who you can work with. Let's be honest. Yeah. And like, those guys, and
that's fine.
They're industry leaders.
That's fine.
They're industry leaders, but now they're threatened because someone else is threatening the leadership, and they're from down the road here on the Gold Coast of Australia.
Yeah. No, and the real thing.
Not those people. Sorry, not JT and Steve Mathis. Like the industry as one. And why I feel they're sorry to cut you off, is why I feel they're threatened is usually they're first to know everything.
Yeah. Now they're in the dark.
They're in the dark,
shit.
man.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And it would feel weird, man. Like I said about that when we
not having instant access, not having tickets to everything,
not asking them
having
questions.
The media passes.
You said it. They're not. Yeah. They didn't ask permission.
Yeah.
They didn't ask permission.
Well, I did hear some. I did hear that there were a couple of a couple of meetings that just went fucking wrong. It was like from the Global SX side.
Yeah. So I think there's some ways they could.
I think that's all been.
I think the Global SX team could have taken some paths a little different. Yeah, but like I said, I think there's people aren't used to change, and I think it's a pivotal time for Global Supercross to, if they can get people moving, and they get people going. Oh, I can race, let's say in 23, there's 8 rounds. Call it 8, call it 10. 10 rounds, you can make $3.5 million. You can travel the world with your chick, and you can do this, and you'll make $200,000 less or $200,000 more.
Yeah.
It's a simple.
Or this is what's going to happen is you go, I'll do my Supercross, and then I'll do Supercross.
Yeah,
just like, and that's the real problem.
But there's going to be decisions. There's going to be decisions.
People are just going to have their hand forced.
So think of this.
If Coop can we're talking $500,000, right? So this is what Coop's going to miss out on. 500, whatever. That's for 3 races. What happens next year when this thing's 8 races? So all of a sudden, you don't need this. I'm going to go on a rant. Sorry.
You're fine.
Formula One car. Danny Ricciardo's having problems with McLaren. He can't just go and get another car and put it on the grid, right? Hey, Cooper Webb can go to a dealership tomorrow. Hey, I'm pretty sure he did it for the last rounds of motocross last year, where he just went and bought a fucking bike and rode his own frame. I don't know, like, where people are at with that, but hey, you can fucking do this. You can go and buy a KTM 450, spend, let's say 30 grand. Just go nuts. 30 grand. You're making 500 for 3 races. 30 grand gets you a fucking sick KTM 450 that you can race at Supercross.
So check this out.
If you've got 8 races next year, you can make 500 grand in 3 this year. And then you've got 8 of those next year. So you're making 1 point something. That's without sponsor bonuses. That's without win bonuses. That's without... I'm just going to go buy 4 fucking 450s, make them exactly how I want, sell my own logo. Like, we're entering a weird time right
absolutely.
now. And guess what? Roger's KTM 450 doesn't mean shit. Coop doesn't want to ride it as it is now. Like, this me put... You know what I mean?
So, yeah, you nailed it. So, let's... Quick budget. Ready? Quick budget.
Quick maths.
75 grand practice mechanic.
Yep.
Can go on the road with you.
Yep.
Right? He's stoked now.
Practice and race. Actually getting paid good money.
Right?
Doesn't have to work for a factory.
You have, let's do, not that he's the best or not. Jamie Ellis, Twisted Development. Going to do your motors.
Yep.
Do your ECUs. That's 8 grand.
49 mil MX Tech forks. Amazing.
Yeah, exactly, right? He can run 48s instead of 52s, 49s or whatever from MX Tech. He's going to get extra. And this is granted, he has to pay for this stuff.
Which he won't. Because I get this shit for free and I fucking suck.
So in Supercross, it's very attainable to build your own program. Like, they're already paying
100%.
Like, it's going to be
2-2 racing, baby.
And Chad did it the hardest way.
Fucking oath he did.
Not because it was the wrong way.
No,
he had to.
It had to, yeah.
He had to. 2-2. Even Jeremy, like Larry, right? Like, look at, there's a scalability of this to do it your own way, to put the people around you that you want to do it. Like, I mean, it's as soon as people start going, as soon as the Kenny's go all in with this, and there's going to be a shift.
Yeah.
And things are going to change for the best for everyone.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for possibly pro motocross.
Well, that's the problem though. So like,
and I love pro motocross, dude.
Oh, I'm the same, dude. Millville was some of the best racing like ever in those classes, you know. But that's so for the people that, I guess, if you're the average fan that doesn't understand why this is causing so many problems, Feld won't affect Feld in the same way, because Supercross is what everyone wants to win. Well-oiled machine. The stadiums are booked. There's a whole other deal there as to pretty much like why you can't even race Supercross in America in a fucking stadium is because Feld owns that shit. So there's that. So Feld is fine. So the neck that's on the chopping block with Global SX is unfortunately AMA Motocross. So I just don't know how. That's the bit, and I'm for Global SX. Fucking stoked that it's happening, but I'm also bummed that it does look like that's the race. That's the series that's on the chopping block. If you enjoyed this content, please like and subscribe. And to listen to the full 3-hour podcast, search Gypsy Tales in your favorite podcast platform or click the link in the description below. Gypsy Gang.